that girl trend is, it's fine, because I'm gonna tell you all about it today. Essentially, there's this trend on TikTok where girls are optimizing their lives to be that girl. And to me, essentially what that girl is all the self-care habits you've heard are good for you, put together into one routine, making you that girl when you're actually able to achieve all of these things. I have a lot of thoughts on why that girl is not sustainable for the planet and how trends like this and just things ruminating like this is bad for sustainability and our mental health as well. We'll get into all that throughout today's video because I'm gonna try to be that girl but make it sustainable. And that girl would never miss her skincare routine, so that's where we're gonna start. I actually found one TikTok that talks about the exact that girl schedule. So that's basically what we're gonna follow today. She wakes up before 7, she makes her bed, she does not touch her phone, and she does her skincare. Now, I think that girl cares about the planet, right? Like a lot of the Gen Zs. But a lot of them care about the planet, and so today maybe hopefully they can learn something from my video. When it comes to skincare, I think we can all choose more sustainable brands, which is why I thought Ecosia would be the perfect sponsor of today's video. Ecosia is the face cleanser I've been using for years, over 3 years at least. I love Ecosia because they are a small woman-owned company. They're California made, they're completely carbon neutral, and they smell amazing, and their ingredients are not only wonderful for your skin, but also for the planet. But as much as I love their cleanser, it's not the star of the show. I'll show you. This serum is Osia's award-winning hyaluronic C serum, which again, I have been using for years, and this packaging is so easy to reuse. I just want you to know that. But this product really helps keep my skin hydrated, and the last couple times I've been to an esthetician to like get extractions, do a little bit of a facial, you know, I've only been a couple times, but I'll tell you, every time I do, they always compliment me on how hydrated my skin is, and they say, you probably use a good hyaluronic serum, don't you? The answer is I do. Drinking enough water also contributes to that, which I also make a priority. That girl probably would too. We're gonna talk a lot today about why things like this trending are problematic, but I personally, if I adopt anything from the That Girl routine, is I do my skincare religiously. It's one of my favorite self-care activities, and if you're doing that, choosing from sustainable brands who are also ethical and carbon neutral and all those things is a good idea. And this is a brand that I've trusted for many years, and I'll leave a link to them at the top of the description with a little discount that I can get you guys. But we'll continue on the That Girl's schedule, and we'll see what she has in store for us next. Honestly, this brings me to my first problem I have with the That Girl trend. Let me show you. My issue really boils down to there's a lot of romanticizing going on here. Not only are we romanticizing our lives, which I think is not inherently a bad thing at all, the problem I'm having is the romanticization of the clothes that these people are wearing, and specifically the brands that these people are wearing. In most cases, these girls are influencers who are making money from brands that exploit people and especially exploit the planet. But more particularly, there's this hats. The girls are always wearing hats in a ponytail to do their workouts. Again, not inherently a problem. But those hats often have logos of brands that are incredibly unethical and unsustainable, and that's really something I've never talked about too much. The romanticization of brands and the way that they exploit people and the planet just because of their name. Get free marketing on your head because it's a brand that a lot of people aspire to be able to own. And I'm really not a fan of the way that this trend seems to give more marketing, more hype, more exposure, and more just, what's the word? Normalizing brands that are incredibly unethical, unsustainable, exploiting people and the planet. But tell me how many That Girl routines you watch where they don't put their hair in a ponytail and a hat to do their workout. Because I noticed that they all do, and many of them have logos of brands that I don't think deserve to be propped up, and I definitely don't think deserve free marketing with you walking around with them on your head all day. This message, however, which again, not sponsored by this hat. I don't care if you buy this hat. I just think it's really cool. This is an indigenous native brand. It's an REI now, and it just reminds everybody that we are on native land, made sustainably and ethically, and sends a good message out into the planet that makes a difference rather than just marketing to a multi-billion-dollar brand for free. They make billions and billions and billions of dollars, but never seem to be able to pay their workers fair wages. Insane to me. Anyway. Let's go work out. I'm not really someone who's out here trying to give you workout advice, but I recently found this, and if this doesn't say healing my inner child with joyful movement, I don't know what would. But I do this second. We gotta do another workout first. Apparently that girl showers in the morning, so back to the bathroom, I suppose. I really am a night shower. We're just gonna do a quick body shower. Definitely don't have time to wash my hair. I feel like that girl would definitely have eucalyptus in her shower, which I do have, but I will say that most eucalyptus is grown in probably not where you're buying it from. So it's shipped all over the place, and then it's also an invasive species in a lot of places, and they really struggle with having it there. Mine was locally grown and it's left over from our wedding, but I just thought, I feel like that girl would have eucalyptus in her shower, and she should know this. That girl for sure is always wearing like cozy athleisure outfits, so secondhand Lululemons and also used sweatshirt I've been wearing recently. That girl also definitely always has her hair parted down the middle, can't mess that up. And she always follows the latest trends, which is definitely my biggest problem with the that girl trend that's happening right now. The overall problem with trends in general, right? Things coming in and out of style. One of the cool things right now is for sure these claw clips, which by the way, I recently got my wisdom teeth out. Might be why I sound a little funny to you. But I went to my cousin's house, and I remember in the 90s or maybe early 2000s when I was a kid, she had so many of these claw clips, and I knew that this video was coming up, so I was like, do you still have any claw clips that I could use to make the That Girl video? Because these things are back in trend, which honestly is great because trends circle back around, and if you keep things that you bought because they were trendy, if you keep them for like 10, 20 years, they'll probably come back. Problem is, most people are not doing that, especially with today's declutter culture. If you're buying things simply because it's trendy and then turning around and decluttering it when it no longer is, obviously that's a huge problem for the planet. That girl also always wears golden hoops, which I've been doing lately. I don't think because of a trend. I feel like golden hoops are pretty timeless, but I noticed that girl always wears athleisure with golden hoops. I feel like there is some awareness online right now about how wasteful trends are. Just in general, the problem with fast fashion, the problem with trends, there's a lot more attention on it now than there was, say, 5 years ago. And some would say that's because sustainability is trendy right now in and of itself. But I was thinking the other day, and I kind of realized realized that sustainability is really not the trend. If we think about long-term, like humans and the earth in general, how long natural ecosystems have been existing, because that's the root of eco-living, right? Eco-friendly living, to be friendly to the ecosystems. And in the history of ecosystems, what's actually trendy is consumerism. The earth and its ecosystems have been sustaining themselves for so long, and only recently has consumerism and the rate at which we are consuming resources massively skyrocketed and made it to an unsustainable way. So when people ask me, I get asked all the time if I think sustainability being trendy is problematic, and I've never stopped to think that really sustainability is not the trend, really consumerism is the trend, and right now we're seeing this little like awareness rising out of the trend that is consumerism. We're realizing it's not sustainable. So I think along with this rise of awareness and sustainability, we still have another part of culture that is very into trends, buying and getting rid of things as they come and go, which is an incredibly wasteful practice that just honestly needs to stop. And I think trends like the that girl trend and making it like this is your best self when you follow these trends, I think that's problematic, not only to the planet, but also to us as humans and like our mental health and self-worth. All those things. I think that's my overall problem with the that girl trend, and why I wanted to talk about it today is to talk about how our perceptions of trends come and go and change and all those sort of things. And I have a couple other points to make. But first, let's make our that girl breakfast. Every single that girl morning routine, because that's kind of what it is. It's mostly just like a productive morning routine. Every single one I watched had the same breakfast of avocado toast with eggs. Let's just talk about the ethical and sustainable issues around those two things. I did make eggs this morning, as you saw. These are my eggs, but if you didn't already know, I have chickens, and honestly I don't know how anybody has more than a couple chickens. Like people on my local Facebook chicken page have like dozens of chickens, or you know, like a dozen chickens, and I honestly just don't understand how, because they lay so many eggs. I don't even know what to do with them. I have to give them to our neighbors, I have to give them back to them, and we're gonna get into that. Point also being that since I've had chickens, I've learned so much about them and the problems around egg production. Like I said, they lay so many eggs, but they're not naturally meant to do that. Chickens naturally would lay about as many eggs as we have periods a year, so around 50, right? But currently they're laying an egg a day, which is hard on their little bodies. I mean, imagine our bodies, right? What the period feels like. I don't know if you have a period, but I do. And what it feels like when we go through our periods as full adult-sized humans with the teeniest, tiniest of eggs coming out of our body, and their teeny tiny bodies laying these big eggs every day. I wish I could make them stop, because they're not naturally meant to do that. They've been bred to do that. And since my chickens were rescued, they're the type of chickens that were bred to lay eggs every day. So eggs may very well not be the most ethical thing to support, but they're very prevalent in the that girl trend. As are avocados, and if we have avocados in our house, sometimes we do, and they normally come from Imperfect foods. And if you didn't already know, there's a ton of issues around avocados, not just with sustainability, but also with exploitation of workers and all those sort of things, because most of them come from Mexico. And in general, it's just not a food that I would necessarily call sustainable, but definitely not a food I would make a staple in your diet to where it's something that you're eating every day. And trust me, I know millennials are known for the avocado toast. Like, avocado toast is very much trendy, as is the that girl trend of eating eggs and avocado toast every morning. But if you didn't already learn something new by what I said about how chickens lay eggs and the avocados, I'm about to show you something you probably didn't know before. You coming for a snack? snack time when I come out here. Yeah. Yeah, chickens, they eat eggs. Every time people are at my house and I show them that, they're amazed, enthralled. But their little bodies producing eggs takes so much out of them, and giving their eggs back to them is a good way to replace their nutrients. I put it in the blender after I boil it because it gets the shells incorporated in there, which helps them replace calcium. Now, honestly, my girls are spoiled and they get to free range all day, so they're always out there looking for bugs, and they don't always eat their egg a day, so even then, I have so many. But it still just makes me feel bad that their little bodies are going through that every day, and I definitely think that before we make eggs a trendy product, we keep that in mind. All right, I think I can finally check my phone now because I actually need to post my giveaway for my Lomi over on Instagram. So I'll do that and then have to record a video. Which, by the way, let me just say, this that girl thing that I am doing, the morning routine takes so long, it's already 10 o'clock. So I don't know what average person who works a regular job would be able to do this, because most people have to be at work at like 8 or 9, which normally I start work at 9 too. Anybody got time for all this? That's a whole other issue. After breakfast, can you guess what that girl does? If you guessed journaling, you would be correct. I've personally journaled on and off throughout my life. I find it to be definitely a good practice, but it's hard to keep up with that whenever you wake up in the morning, and you have so much to do. Stopping and taking the time to journal is hard for me. I don't know about you. And one of the other problems I had with journaling when I was trying to do it is always coming up with what the heck to journal about. And this is actually really cool. I've used these a few times, but my friend must have gone through a that girl phase where she was trying to journal, and she bought these 60 positive affirmation cards with empowering questions. And so these are basically like really good journaling prompts. But this little box of cards that she gave me is a really good example of your fantasy self. As these certain things that are trendy become cool on the internet and people pick up on them and they aspire to be like the person that they're watching on the internet, they will buy all of these things to try to fulfill the same desirable life. My main point is just as these things become trendy and cool and we share them, it suddenly starts to be, well, you need this outfit to do this workout, or this hat to do this workout, or you need something to help you journal, or you need to go buy a yoga mat or a membership, or all these different things that basically as these things become trendy, we think we need to go buy to fit into that trend, which is just perpetuating consumerism, which, as we all know, is my biggest passion, is explaining to people why consumerism is bad, because every single thing we buy has an environmental impact before it makes it to us. I bet also you could find something like this online and not even have to buy it, I'm guessing. Because I have this, and for the purpose of explaining that girl problematic behavior of consumerism, I'm gonna go ahead and use one of these to do a little bit of journaling this morning. My confidence improves with each passing day. I am most confident when. Why is this important? Okay, now that the workday's over, something else that girl always does is read. That girl reads self-improvement books, but in the name of making it more sustainable, we're headed to the library. I think that's gonna be it for this girl in this that girl video. I'm gonna take this book, Balance is BS, because I feel like I'm always chasing the perfect balance in my life and I never get there. And I feel like that girl would tell me that maybe this is appropriate. I don't know. Let me know if any of you have ever read this, but I'm gonna go sit outside in my little swings. Oh, with my little outdoor cat. Oh, that's Mr. Luis. Madison named him, but I'm gonna go sit in my cozy little chairs out there, get started on this book, do my skincare routine, and get into bed. So don't forget, Ecosia was the sponsor of today's video. There's a link at the top of the description that can get you a discount with them. I've been using them for years and just love them to death. So let me know what you think about the topics of this video. If I ruined a bunch of things for you, Seems to be what I do sometimes. And remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.